Hey, welcome. So, if you've ever thought that there's just one single way to win in business, you are in for a bit of a surprise. Today, we're going to break down the game plan that really separates the champions from the contenders, and we'll see that there are actually 5 totally distinct paths to get to the top. It all starts with a simple but really powerful question.
So let's start with a little puzzle, right? How in the world can two companies that seem like total polar opposites, I'm talking a low-price giant like Walmart and a super premium high-quality brand like Lexus, how can they both be so unbelievably successful? I mean, they seem to be playing by completely different rules, and yet they both come out on top. How is that even possible?
Well, the secret is they are playing different games. It's that simple. Walmart's entire universe revolves around one thing: having the absolute lowest possible cost. They win customers on price, period. Lexus, on the other hand, wins by being totally different, by offering this unique quality that people are more than willing to pay extra for. So you see, they're both champions, but they're champions of completely different sports. And understanding which game your business is playing, well, that's the absolute core of competitive strategy.
Okay, so to make sense of all this, we need a map. And to draw that map, every single business out there has to answer 2 fundamental questions about how it's going to compete. But before we start drawing, let's just get on the same page. What is competitive strategy? Well, think of it as a company's game plan. It's how they decide they're going to attract customers, and crucially, how they'll build a lasting advantage that keeps their competitors scrambling. It's not just about what you sell, it's about how you position yourself in the market to win.
And here they are, those 2 big questions. First, who are you even trying to serve? Are you targeting a really broad market, kind of like fishing with a giant net to catch pretty much everyone? Or are you laser-focused on a narrow niche, more like fishing with a spear, going after one specific type of customer? And then, the second question, how are you going to win them over? Are you going to win by being the cheapest, or are you going to win by being different, unique, something special?
Answering those 2 questions, well, it creates this, our strategy map. On one axis, you've got your market target, broad or narrow. On the other, your competitive advantage. Are you cheaper or are you different? Believe it or not, every successful company finds its home somewhere on this grid. So let's start filling it in.
All right, let's start with the top half of our map. These are the companies fishing with that giant net, the ones targeting pretty much everybody.
So, the first position on our map is the low-cost provider. The goal here is simple, and it's kind of brutal. Have lower overall costs than anybody else in the game. This is what lets you win on price and still make a profit. And of course, the undisputed heavyweight champion of this strategy is Walmart. They've absolutely mastered the art of squeezing costs out of every single part of their business.
But playing this game is super dangerous. There are 3 classic traps. First, you can get so aggressive with cutting prices that your profits just completely disappear. Second, maybe a rival figures out how to copy your cost-saving tricks, and poof, your advantage is gone. And finally, you can get so obsessed with cutting costs that your product becomes, well, junk. And at that point, even the lowest price isn't going to save you.
Now, the complete opposite approach for a broad market is to just forget about being the cheapest. Instead, you aim to be the most unique. This is called broad differentiation. The goal here is to offer features or quality or a brand image that a huge audience finds so appealing they're actually willing to pay a premium for it.
Now, this strategy has its own set of traps too. If those unique features you've built are easily copied, your advantage can just vanish overnight. You can also spend way too much money trying to be different, but if customers aren't willing to pay more for it, you're just lighting cash on fire. It's this really tough balancing act, you know? You have to convince buyers that your higher price is truly worth it.
Okay, so we've covered the net fishers. Now let's move down to the other half of our map, the spear fishers, the ones who zero in on a very, very specific type of customer.
You can actually take that low-cost model we talked about and just apply it to a small niche. This is called focused low cost. You're not trying to be the cheapest for everyone on the planet, just for a very specific price-sensitive group. A fantastic example of this is the Aravind Eye Care System in India. They provide ultra-low-cost cataract surgeries, specifically to the rural poor, by optimizing every single step of their process for that one mission. It's incredible.
And then in our final corner of the map, we have focused differentiation. So here, you're not just unique, you're unique for a very particular group of people. Think about Pop Chips. They didn't try to make a potato chip for everyone. No way. They targeted health-conscious snackers who wanted a better-for-you option that wasn't fried and wasn't baked. They created a product that perfectly met the specific tastes of that one little niche.
But focusing on a niche, whether you're going for low cost or being different, it shares some common dangers. Big competitors might find a way to serve your little niche just as well as you do. Or your customers' tastes could change, and they might drift back toward the mainstream products. Or, and this might be the worst of all, your niche becomes so successful that it attracts a flood of new players, and suddenly your cozy little market is a battlefield.
So we've got 4 pretty clear strategies in our 4 quadrants. But wait, there's one more. It's a kind of hybrid strategy that doesn't fit neatly in a box. Instead, it tries to live in this really tricky middle ground.
And this brings us right back to our opening puzzle, Lexus. They are a perfect example of a best cost provider. The whole goal is to blend strategies, offer upscale, high-end, differentiated features, but do it at a lower price than the true luxury brands like a Mercedes or a BMW. You're basically trying to give customers more value for their money.
But, and this is a huge but, this position is incredibly risky. It comes with a massive danger known as the big squeeze.
See, here's the problem. You're stuck right in the middle. From above, you get squeezed by the true luxury brands, the ones that have even better features and more brand prestige. And from below, you get squeezed by the low-cost providers who are always cheaper. You run the risk of becoming a master of none, totally unable to compete with the specialists at either end of the market.
So, with all 5 of these strategies laid out, let's just bring it all together and take a look at our finished map. And here it is, all 5 strategies in one place. You can clearly see the broad players up at the top, the niche players down at the bottom, and that tricky best cost provider trying to bridge the gap right there in the middle. Any one of these positions can lead to massive success, but only if it's executed flawlessly.
So the crucial point to take away from all this is simple. There is no single best strategy. Success isn't about picking one of these at random. It's all about choosing a clear position on the map that perfectly matches what your company is genuinely good at. Your strategy has to be built on capabilities that are valuable, and most importantly of all, that are really hard for your rivals to copy.
And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Whether it's for your own business or just the companies you see every day, what is their winning move on this map? And maybe more importantly, is that advantage they have truly built to last? Or is it just waiting to be copied, squeezed, or ignored? Thanks for joining me on this one.